Ladies and gentlemen, this is your NXT TakeOver in your house review on Sunday, June 13th, 2021. I am Joseph Conlon here on the Big Fight Field channel, and I thank all of you for joining myself and my co-host for NXT, Cameron Johnson, here on the Big Fight Field channel tonight. Um, I usually start it off. I give my thoughts about what happened on the show, and I introduce Cam, and then he gives his thoughts. I feel like I change it up a little bit tonight, man. I want to hear what you have to say first about the show, and then I'll dive into it because a lot of people are saying online that this has been the most underwhelming takeover in a very long time, man. So, Cam, what do you guys say about tonight's show, dude?
I thought tonight's show was a good show, but I'm in agreement with a lot of people online. I thought this is a very, very underwhelming show. This did not feel like a takeover. It felt like a very good episode. And it felt like a very good episode of NXT. And I don't know if it's because they're in the CWC. I don't know if it's because they're in the CWC. I don't know what it is, but this takeover show did not feel like a takeover. And I think the two in your house takeovers that they've had, I think they're in contention for two of the worst takeover shows of all time. Yeah, I don't think there's anything on this show that I'm gonna go back and watch. That I'm gonna go back and watch at the end of the year. That I'm gonna go back and watch a month from now or anything. I don't feel like this is a takeover show. I feel like I'm gonna go back and watch either. So I just thought this was very. I just thought this was a very lackluster show. Not a bad show. Not a. I didn't think it was a bad show, and they did do a lot. And they did do a lot to get you to tune in to Tuesday night, which at the end of the day, I think is the most important thing. Did your pay per view make me want? Did your show that you put on make me? Did it make me want to tune in to your? Did it make me want to tune in Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night? I think that's the most important thing. But I thought this was a very underwhelming show. A good show, but underwhelming.
Now, here's what I had in my head. We will talk about the end of the show very briefly because I have some ideas of what can happen. But are you on the same page as saying, I thought this was a good show? I thought this was a good NXT show for takeover standards and how takeover and NXT and Triple H says, oh, takeover is the biggest stage possible. Takeover is the biggest as a huge stage for a takeover show. I might get some heat here for a takeover show. I'm gonna give it a thumbs down. For a NXT show, I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. Do you agree with me on that, or what?
Yes, I agree. I agree. I agree. I agree. I think this is. I agree. I think this is easily the worst takeover they've ever done. I think this is even worse than some of the early takeover shows they've done. Than some of the early takeover shows they've done. I'm talking about takeovers where those were really. I'm talking about the takeover shows where those were really one match shows. Takeover Fatal 4-Way, for example. A takeover Fatal 4-Way, for example. Outside of the Fatal 4-Way match, I don't remember a damn thing that happened on that takeover show. The first ever takeover show outside of Charlotte versus Natalia, I don't really remember anything on that show. Outside of Charlotte versus Natalia, I don't really remember anything on that show. So I think this was worse than some of the some of the early takeover shows. I just didn't think as a takeover show, I thought this show sucked. I thought like the previous takeover. I thought there was one match that stood out, and that was the main event.
Yeah.
Everything else, I just thought was very good or good.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but one thing you did bring up is, did the show make you want to tune in to the Fallout show, which is Tuesday night? If they had ended the show with Karrion Kross holding up the NXT Championship, my answer would have been no. I would have been like, they did not do a good job in making you want to tune in to Tuesday night. But the end of the show, we're going to talk about this thing first because you guys see it from the title of the thumbnail. What change is William Regal talking about? Mackenzie Mitchell came up to Regal and she wanted his thoughts on tonight's In Your House takeover. And he said, for 7 years I've been NXT GM. I've never seen much madness and chaos and out of controlness that I've ever seen. We've seen him tonight break up about 3 brawls and previous NXT shows. He's all over the place. And he says, I think it's time for a big change around here. And the show goes off with William Regal walking away from Mackenzie Mitchell. Now, this could be teasing that William Regal is like, you know what? This is too much for me. I'm all over the place. I can't be breaking up these fights every single week. Like I've done it for so long, and I can't do it now. This could be a situation where William Regal, 7 years as the NXT general manager, is stepping down forever because, you know, he's just tired of it. And I don't know if we get an explanation Tuesday night, but that is the main reason why I'm tuning into NXT Tuesday night. And for that reason alone, I'm excited to see what goes down Tuesday night, you know?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, man. I agree with you, man. I agree with you. I want to know what's going on with William Regal. I want to know what's going on with William Regal in this situation and what's going to happen. And while I think I have some ideas, some of them funny, one of them being serious, I just don't, I don't know what's going to happen with Regal. And I think that's the big intrigue there because Regal's been there for 7 years. And without a doubt, Regal's been the best GM. Definitely in WWE. I don't know about all of wrestling because Dario Cueto was I don't know about all of wrestling because Dario Cueto, when Lucha Underground was around, he was I thought he was the best GM in wrestling. But William Regal, for the 7 years he's been around, has easily been the best general manager in WWE. He showed up. When he showed up, you knew something big was happening. When he showed up, you knew something big was happening. And so that's what I liked about Regal. And so for him leaving, I can't wait. I want to see how they, with him leaving, I want to see how they improve on this. I want to see what happens with Regal. But that's about it.
Now, you said you have ideas, and I have ideas as well. I actually have 3 candidates as to who could take Regal's spot. But I want to hear what you have to say first. Of like, who can, if there is a replacement, who can be there to replace William Regal?
My first candidate, and I didn't really think about this till later, was Samoa Joe. It was Samoa Joe. What if this is their way of bringing Samoa Joe back to NXT? We saw reports that Samoa Joe was spotted at the WWE Performance Center. We've also seen reports that WWE is interested in bringing back Samoa Joe because they realize they made a big mistake in letting Samoa Joe go. And so maybe this is the way they bring Samoa Joe in. We see NXT, these guys fighting every week, and order can't be, and there's no order on NXT. Well, if Samoa Joe's around, I guarantee you some order's going to be restored there, because some order's going to be restored there. Because if I was there, I would listen to Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe tell you to do something, you do it. If not, you got to worry about Samoa Joe choking you out or cutting a promo on you in just a badass way, as we know you can do. So I think Samoa Joe is the most likely candidate. And then also, I thought about this as a joke. I was joking with Escobar before I got on the call with you. I said, what if Triple H just decides, you know what, screw this. screw this, and he just starts taking a sledgehammer to everybody. He just starts taking a sledgehammer to everybody in NXT, and that's his way of restoring order. Like if he sees a fight going on backstage, boom, just a sledgehammer shot. Somebody shows up to NXT and they're not supposed to be there, boom, shot with a sledgehammer. Boom, shot with a sledgehammer. I think that would clean up some order, but I hope they got something involved, because I've said it before and I'll say it again. NXT is the worst security in all of wrestling. No wonder people keep signing with AEW. So I'll say work environment down there in NXT. But I think Samoa Joe is the most likely I think Samoa Joe is the most likely candidate in all seriousness.
Listen, man, that NXT parking lot's dangerous. You don't know what's going to happen there.
It's very dangerous, man. You got Dexter Loomis kidnapping people. Kenta said the same thing on Line Ones. He was like, that parking lot is not safe. I don't know.
Oh, man. But I do agree with your Samoa Joe thing. That could happen. It makes a lot of sense. It could be like, hey, you better be on your best behavior. You don't want to mess with Samoa Joe. And this could be a setup for him to challenge Karrion Kross for the NXT Championship. But Kross doesn't give an F about what Samoa Joe has to say or what orders he does. And then you know what? Samoa Joe's like, you know what? I'm tired of your shit. I'm gonna choke you out. And then boom, you got an NXT Championship program right there with Karrion Kross and Samoa Joe. That could be a way to get that going. Other two names I could see going. Maybe this is a way to bring back Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong was written off of television when the whole Undisputed Era breakup happened. He left on good terms with William Regal. Maybe he comes back and he replaces William Regal as the general. I'm not really sure of that one. It's probably the least likely option. And then the other one I thought of, just because, he left SmackDown about a month and a half ago. Maybe it's Daniel Bryan. Maybe Daniel Bryan comes down. He goes to NXT for a while. He goes to be a mentor for the younger talent down in NXT, and his role is William Regal's role, which is the general manager. And maybe if he wants to, we could get a couple of matches with Daniel Bryan down in NXT. I wouldn't mind that as well. But yeah, I'm in agreement with you in saying that Samoa Joe is probably the most likely candidate. After reports that he was at the PC this week, WWE's looking to bring him back. If I'm Samoa Joe, I would not re-sign with the company. I'm telling you right now. But if he is to re-sign the company, he's probably on a deal where, hey, he's an NXT guy and an NXT guy only. And we know Triple H. Triple H adores Samoa Joe. So
yeah, I mean, I know that's what Joe was. As when Joe first signed with WWE in 2015, he was NXT exclusive. The only reason why they signed, the only reason why Vince McMahon took an interest in wanting Samoa Joe signed full time was because of his merch. Because his merch sold really well. As soon as that T-shirt, I know they made a T-shirt for Joe when he first debuted, and that sold out instantly. And once Vince McMahon found out that his merch was moving, he wanted him signed. He wanted him signed immediately. So that wouldn't shock me, because when Joe originally signed in 2015, he was supposed to be NXT exclusive.
Yeah, so that's true. I forgot about that story. So I think the leading candidate's probably going to be Samoa Joe. But hey, you got to tune in Tuesday night to see what happens. So they did a good job making you want to tune into Tuesday. But before we talk about this takeover tonight, if you guys haven't already, be sure to go check out the In Your House preview predictions video with myself, Cameron Johnson, and Escobar Morales. Even though the show's over, if you want to, you can still go check out the preview and predictions video. We have the AEW Dynamite review as well with Wesley Williams available on the channel. And tomorrow, speaking of Wesley Williams, tomorrow in the afternoon, we are going to be doing an interview with AEW superstar Danny Limelight. I'm very excited for that. So, first time ever interview on the Big Fight Field channel. And if you guys want, you can drop your questions to Danny Limelight in the comments below, and you will hear your question in the interview with Danny tomorrow here on the channel. So, be sure to do that. Are you ready to dive into these matches for TakeOver?
Let's dive into these matches.
First match we opened up with was Bronson Reed and MSK versus Legado del Fantasma. And before we jump into the match, actually, another reason why I thought the show was so underwhelming, even though this was the most capacity inside the CWC since the pandemic, the crowd was really not that loud tonight. They really weren't like cheering for anybody in this match, really, besides a couple spots. The big highlight of this match was obviously when Bronson Reed he drove Santos Escobar through the barricade to take him out. Then they took out Joaquin Wilde, and MSK hit their finisher on Raul Mendoza and then Bronson Reed hit the big tsunami splash, and the champs retained, which was very predictable. We all knew that was going to happen. This was good. I think these guys could have gotten much more time, but it was a good, fun opening match. I wish the crowd got a little bit more into this match, but I mean, it was still a good match. But Reed and MSK, they retained the championships. Bronson Reed did not pin Santos Escobar. He pinned Raul Mendoza. So I expect this to be an out for Santos Escobar to get himself a shot at the NXT North American Championship, probably on that July 6th Great American Bash show. So this was a good opener, I thought. What do you think about the opening match?
I thought the opener was a lot of fun. I love the spot at the end where Bronson Reed pancaked. I think that's the right word. I think that's the best term for it, where he pancaked Santos Escobar into the barricade. I thought that was a great spot, and that made me go. I thought that was a great spot, and that made me go, holy shit, because I was not expecting that at all. So I thought that was great. I thought that was great. Reed versus Escobar. Reed versus Escobar is continuing, which is fine because Reed versus Escobar is continuing, which is fine. Which is fine. Bronson Reed needs something to do. I know Bronson Reed needs somebody to defend the title against before he drops it to Isaiah Swerve Scott. So that's fine. But I don't like how Legado del Fantasma, in particular, Joaquin Wilde, I don't like how they're made to lose all the time. It feels like they lose all the time. It feels like they lose all the time. And I do not like that at all. Like Santos Escobar has a couple of losers with him. That's what it feels like. It feels like he's rolling with two losers. Now Escobar's the real star, and Wild and Mendoza are a couple of job guys. So I don't like how Wild and Mendoza are booked to lose almost every match they're in, it feels like. But I thought this was a fun opener.
Yeah, I do agree with you right there. It's like whenever the big tag title match comes up, they lose every single time, or a big marquee match. You got to book them better to take the whole group serious, because I don't really think that people don't take Wild and Mendoza serious enough. They take Santos serious because he's awesome and people love him. That's the whole reason why the faction's over and everybody was chanting Legado. So, yeah, I don't really have much to say about that. Fun opener, and champs retained. I expect Bronson Reed to be defending the title against Santos Escobar at the Great American Bash show. Next, Mercedes Martinez versus Xylee. This did not feel like a takeover match whatsoever. I was honestly bored to this match, the CWC is probably on the same side as me because this crowd was dead silent during this match. Besides when um Ty Ty what's the dude's My Young or something like that?
You're talking about the guy that's on ringside was Ali. I think that's Boa. I
No,
think
not him.
that's
The guy that choked out Mercedes.
oh, Mean She. I think it is.
I don't remember the name, but I don't know. This match was meh. It was just a meh match. No one really cared about it. Xia Li won the match with a weak spinning wheel kick. And then after the match, she grabbed a steel chair, started to hit Martinez with it. The Martinez fought back, hit Xia Li with the steel chair, started to hit Bo with the steel chair, and then my God, this me not getting this name down is starting to bother me a little bit. So I'm gonna go look up this name of what I tweeted tonight. Um, Ma Ying, that's his name, Ma Ying. So at the end, Mercedes looks up and Ma Ying, he stands up from his throne. He walks to Mercedes Martinez. He chokes her out with like his two fingers. She grabs a chair, hits him with the chair. He no-solds it, and he grabs her by the throat, and he chucks her to the barricade, and him, Xia Li, and Boa stand tall. So I did not really care about the match at all. I cared about the post-match thing. I thought that was good. Now we know that the guy, like the leader, is not just someone that sits up on the throne. Like it actually does stuff, and you can tell NXT is Triple H, Shawn Michaels are heavily invested in what they're doing with Xia Li. I expect her to be on NXT TV more often now, and um, come this time next year, I would not be surprised if she's the women's champion. I really think that um, they're booking her very strong right now. I think so. Go ahead. I gave my thoughts. Go ahead and give your thoughts.
This did not feel like a takeover match. There is no reason at all why this should have been on take. There is no reason at all why this should have been on takeover. But Ciampa and Thatcher, when Ciampa and Thatcher, which Ciampa and Thatcher were on the show, but they were in a backstage promo. Ciampa and Thatcher were on this show, but they were in a backstage promo. If anything, Ciampa and Thatcher versus the Grizzly Young Vet should have been on this show. I think that would have made this show a much better show if that match was on this show and this match was on TV next week. Uh, the match was just meh. It wasn't really all that. I didn't think the match was really all that good. It was just meh. And then the post match stuff. Confused me. The post match stuff confused me because I don't know who they're. Post-match stuff confused me because I don't know who they're trying to push or get over in this angle. I don't know if they're trying to push Xia Li or if they're trying to push this TNC guy. And I didn't even know he was a guy. I didn't even know he was a guy. I didn't even know he was a guy. I thought he was a woman at first. I thought he was a woman to be. I thought this was a woman to be perfectly honest with you. But
It might be. I don't know. I'm speculating it's a guy.
yeah, but I don't. Yeah, this confused me. This confused me. Mercedes Martinez loses. She got the hell beaten out of her. So I don't know if this writes Mercedes Martinez off of NXT to appear on the main roster as Eva Marie's heavy. I don't know. I don't know if that writes her off of NXT for this or not. I think it would make Eva Marie look pretty stupid. I think it would make Eva Marie look pretty stupid to go hire a bodyguard who got her ass kicked 24 hours ago. But 24 hours ago, I think that would make her look stupid. But I don't care, Siva Marie. So I don't care, Siva Marie. So maybe this is her send off. I don't know, but I don't know. But I wasn't a fan of this. I don't think this should have been on the show. This should have been an angle on NXT TV. This should have been done on NXT television. And Champion Thatcher against the Grizzly Young Veteran should have been on this show.
Oh yeah, we said that Tuesday night, and it feels if it will be right after we watch the match on Tuesday. But yeah, man, we're less than 24 hours. So in less than 24 hours, we might see Mercedes Martinez, who just got her ass beat, show up as the bodyguard, and that wouldn't make sense at all because it's like who wants to hire a bodyguard that is getting their ass kicked?
Exactly.
But do you see Zia Lee in a potential women's title picture by the end of the year, beginning of 2022?
I do. I do. I do. Maybe she's the one to beat Raquel Gonzalez for this championship. To be honest with you, because I don't see Shotzi winning it. I don't see Shotzi winning the title. I don't think Io's getting the belt back. I don't think Dakota Kai. I don't think Dakota's getting the belt back. So maybe she's the one to beat Raquel Gonzalez for the title. If Frankie Monet or Tegan Knox don't do it, maybe she's the one to beat Raquel Gonzalez for the title. But yeah, I do think she'll be NXT Women's Champion by either the end of this year or next year.
Yeah, very possibly. So we'll see what happens with Xia Li, and it feels like they're just getting started with the gimmick, even though they've been pushing it since January. So the next match was the match I was looking forward to the most tonight. We had the ladder match for the $1 Million Championship. Cameron Grimes, who's over with these people, versus LA Knight. I'd say the crowd was the most loudest for this match because, everybody loves Cameron Grimes and everybody is chanting "To the Moon" during his theme song. His theme is so over with everybody chanting. That's gonna feel so sweet. Him coming out to that song in front of 500 people at Full Sail, 12,000 people at a Takeover arena. That is gonna be that's gonna be awesome. I can't wait for that to happen. But this was a very good ladder match. I enjoyed the match for what it was. It didn't stand out as I wanted it to be, but it was a very good match. They did wrestling before they involved ladders. They took some crazy ass bumps in this match. LA Knight took a back body drop. He also got thrown over the ropes, landed on the ladder. He didn't go through it. His leg did, but he didn't go. He didn't go crashing through the ladder. And they did a spot where Grimes was on a ladder. LA Knight tipped it over, and he climbed onto the lighting pole, jumped onto LA Knight, and he did his whole to the moon thing. Climbed up the ladder, was grabbing the $1 million the $1 million briefcase with the title in it, and LA Knight tips the ladder over. Cameron Grimes is onto he falls onto a ladder. He doesn't go through it. He falls right onto it. LA Knight climbs up there, grabs the briefcase with the title in it, and LA Knight is the new $1 Million champion, with Ted DiBiase giving him a standing ovation. I would not have been mad at all if Cameron Grimes won this match. I would not have been mad if LA Knight won this match, but me and Cameron were right on the prediction show. The right way to go was to give LA Knight the $1 Million title, have Cameron Grimes chase LA Knight, and eventually he would take off the $1 Million title from LA Knight. And I think LA Knight fits perfectly with that $1 Million championship with his charisma and this sarcasm. He's like he can call himself the $1 Million Knight now. So
I like that. I like the $1 Million Night.
yeah, I just came up with that too. But dude, he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be great with that title. And people are mad about this. I don't really get it. Why? It's a part of the story. It makes Cameron Grimes a bigger babyface. It gets Cameron Grimes more over with the fans. You know why? Because they want to see him win the championship now. And maybe I don't know how long this goes out to, but maybe this goes out to when we have at least a full sale crowd where they could be cheering when Cameron Grimes wins that $1 Million Championship. I don't know, but I don't think this is over. They're still going to be feuding, and I am totally fine with that. And LA Knight winning tonight, it continues to feud, I think. So, very good match. LA Knight won. This was this was a good match. It didn't stand out though. That's the only bad thing. It didn't really stand out on this show. So, what do you think?
I thought this was a very good ladder match. I thought this was this was easily the second best thing on the entire show. This is the second best thing on the entire show. I thought this was a very good ladder match. Both guys in this match took some hellacious bumps. One thing I will never do. One thing I will never do, or I don't think is really fair to do, is kind of judge. It's kind of like judge how good or bad a ladder match is, because those guys are in there taking some, because those guys are in there taking some hellacious bumps. So they're, because those guys are in there taking some hellacious bumps. So at the end of the day, I think I just think the right thing to do is to admire those guys and to praise those guys. After any kind of ladder match. But I thought this is a very good ladder match. Both guys took a lot of physical bumps in this match, and LA Knight winning, I think, was the right call. I think LA Knight winning was the right call, like Joseph said. LA Knight with the $1 Million Championship is going to fit like a glove. I hope. My hope is we get some. My hope is we can get some entertaining segment. We can get some entertaining. We can get some entertaining segments. Well, with LA Knight with the $1 Million Championship. Maybe he's with Ted DiBiase. Maybe he's with Ted DiBiase. That's my hope in all this. I hope we get some. That's my hope in all this, and I hope we get some very entertaining comedy segments with LA Knight as the $1 Million Champion, because I think that could be gold. But they're obviously building to Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes, I think, is bigger than the $1 Million Championship. And yes, they are building to that. Maybe they put the championship on Cameron. Maybe they do a SummerSlam weekend if there's a takeover. With SummerSlam being in Las Vegas, maybe NXT does. With SummerSlam being in Las Vegas, maybe NXT does. Maybe NXT does the thing where we're there in the arena. We're there in the arena the night before, and Cameron Grimes wins it in front of 100 people. Maybe he wins it in front of 12, 13,000 people. Maybe that's the route they're going down. But I think Grimes is bigger than the North American champion. Not North American, excuse me. I think he's bigger than the $1 Million Championship. I think LA Knight can win the $1 Million title, and I think Cameron Grimes will be much better off challenging for the NXT or even the North American title later on down the road, because again, his future is bright. But I do think they are building to Grimes winning the championship, and it makes sense. The baby makes sense. That's what wrestling is. That's what wrestling is built off of. Wrestling is built off of the babyface chase. Wrestling is built off of the babyface chasing the heel. The babyface chasing the heel champion. That's what LA Knight. That's what Cameron Grimes is doing. He's chasing LA Knight, and I guarantee you, they do a takeover SummerSlam weekend, and they do it in an arena. I guarantee you, this moment is going to feel a lot better in a 15,000 seat arena, if that's the plan, than in front of 100 people. So
Yes.
Grimes is winning the championship. don't worry, don't worry, Cameron Grimes, and don't worry, Cameron Grimes is not ruined. He's not buried. Cameron Grimes will be fine.
Yes, and if that does happen, the people that complained that LA Knight won tonight are going to be happy that he won it at this takeover because Grimes got the bigger moment winning it the title in front of a couple 10,000 people. So, um, it's for good storytelling. Hopefully, we get some good comedy segments as well. Uh, does Virgil come back?
I hope so. I hope Virgil does come back, man. I hope they pay Virgil his F money, bro. I hope Virgil gets to come back and he makes his F money, man. Last time we saw Virgil was in a segment on AEW Dynamite after Chris Jericho's big birthday celebration. Bring back Virgil, man. Come on, man. Bring back Virgil. Get Virgil his F money. LA Knight and Virgil. I think those segments could be incredibly entertaining. So I hope we get it.
Let's see what happens, man. But this was a very good ladder match with LA Knight winning the $1 million title. Women's Championship. Ember Moon versus Raquel Gonzalez. This match was decent, I guess. I was a little bit bored watching this. I really didn't get anything out. We all knew this was going to happen. Dakota Kai interfered. Shotzi Blackheart makes the save. Chases her to the back. Left on a one-on-one. And Raquel, I really don't have much to say about this match. Raquel won clean with the one-arm power bomb. She pinned Ember Moon like we all knew it was going to happen. And she retained the title. It was a decent match. I just fully wasn't into it. The match was really slow. And there's no story because, they had 2 weeks to build to the match. And like we said in the NXT review, like we said in the preview predictions with Escobar, how can I get into a match that has 2 weeks worth of build with no story in it? It's just very difficult to get into a story like that. And at the end of the day, it made me not care about the match. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who is going to say that. But I thought this was a decent match, but at the end of the night, I just didn't care. I didn't care at all. So that's all I have to say about the match.
I'm in agreement with you. I thought the match was okay. The match was nothing. The match was nothing other. The match was nothing special. The match was just okay. The highlight of this match for me was when Shotzi Blackheart returned. That's about it. That's the only time I really woke up during this match was when Shotzi chased Dakota Kai to the back. But that's about it. I thought it was okay. And just for every wrestler who is watching the show, which of course they are. Everybody watches the Big Fight Field channel. So for every wrestler watching this show, when you hit your finish, when you hit your finisher in wrestling and you don't get the cover, if you go for your finisher again, you're more than likely to lose. I'm just saying. If you go for your finisher, I'm just saying. If you hit your finisher and something happens, the referee gets bumped or anything. If you go for your finisher again, you're more than likely to lose. So it's just a FYI to all wrestlers out there. But I thought this match was just okay. Nothing special, just okay.
Oh, dude, you know what spot I hate in wrestling that makes the wrestlers look so stupid? So in this match, Ember Moon, she hit the Eclipse. She covered Raquel Gonzalez, and she covers the leg that is furthest away from the rope.
Oh,
and
God!
And she doesn't.
I didn't even think of that, man. That does piss me off. I didn't even think about it until you said it. I can't think of it. That does piss me off because that is stupid. That is very, very
That
stupid.
looks so dumb.
Yeah.
And it's not just that this wasn't the only match that it happened in. It's happened on Raw, SmackDown, WWE pay-per-views, AEW pay-per-views, Dynamite. It makes the wrestler look so dumb when they grab the leg that's furthest away from the rope. Meanwhile, when someone has a partner with them or their leg closer to the rope, all they do is put their ankle on the rope, and it's a rope break. It makes the wrestler who hits the move so stupid, and I can't stand that, man. It's ridiculous.
It is stupid. It is stupid. Although I will say this. Although I will say this before we move on. The best example of them doing this, of them, of this happening in a match, and it legitimately, and it got me. And it was because of and it was because of the camera angle. And it was because of the camera angle. It was because of the camera angle. I remember back on an episode of Raw in 2015. I think it was in the build up to SummerSlam. Seth Rollins and Pac. Seth Rollins and Neville, who's now Pac. They had a WWE Championship match on Raw. Neville hit the Pac hit the red arrow on Seth Rollins, and in the way it was being shot, Neville hooked in the way it was being shot. Neville hooked the leg that was furthest from the rope, but the way it was being shot, you didn't. It got everybody in the arena, and it got me too, because I was like, oh shit, Neville was WWE champion, and then they showed the angle of Rollins' foot being on the rope. That was the best example. That was the best example of that foot being on the of the foot being on the rope. Of the leg being hooked closest to the rope. That was the best example, because that camera work was phenomenal. Rollins didn't have anybody with him, but that was phenomenal.
Yes,
Okay.
it made it believable as well that Pac had won the WWE title. But I just had to point that out there because I hate that spot so much. But we're going to move on to the main event of NXT TakeOver in your house. It was a fatal five-way for the NXT Championship. Pete Dunne, who was the MVP with best gear tonight. We had Pete Dunne, Johnny Gargano, Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, Karrion Kross. This match was great. I thought this was not even close. This was the match at night. This match needed to deliver. I was immediately going to give this a thumbs down if this did not deliver. But this was a great match. I really enjoyed it. And with a full capacity crowd, um, this match would have been 5 times better, maybe 10. This match would have been 5 times better than it originally was. This match was in front of a full live capacity audience. This could be one of the top matches of the entire year, but it's not taken away that it was a great match. You made it believable that anybody could have won in this match when Dunn hit the bitter end on Cross, when Johnny Gargano had the final beat on Adam Cole. Adam Cole had the last shot on Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly had Adam Cole in a submission hold. That was the ending of the match. Adam Cole was being put in a heel hook by O'Reilly. Cross just snuck over to Kyle O'Reilly, put him in the cross jacket. And then O'Reilly eventually let go of Cole because he was being passed out. And he passed out by Karrion Kross. This whole match was Kross being beaten down and then taking a break and then coming back and then beaten down. But really, the guys that carried the match, like we all knew this was going to happen. The guys that carried the match were Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, Kyle O'Reilly, and Pete Dunne. I don't think there's no secret to that because most of the match what Kross was doing is he would get beaten down. He gets slammed into the In Your House set by Pete Dunne and Johnny Gargano. He laid there for a couple minutes. He'd come back. He got powerbombed onto the announce table by Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. He'd come back. And the ending was him passing out Kyle O'Reilly. Not a fan of the ending. Karrion Kross retains the NXT Championship. So right there, in that match, you had your NXT champion beat 4 challengers. He has now beaten Johnny Gargano, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they were pinned or they were submitted or not. If you're in the match and you didn't win the title, you lost. So he beat Johnny Gargano, Pete Dunne, Adam Cole, and Kyle O'Reilly all in one night, and Finn Balor as well. So that Mike, you knew the for you guys watching, and for you too, Cameron. You knew if Karrion Kross won, I was going to say this. Now that he won, who's next? Who exactly is going to face Karrion Kross for the NXT Championship? I can't think of anybody, really. Realistically, I cannot think of anybody that can step up and face Karrion Kross. Go ahead, dude.
Uh, I'm in agreement with you. This Fatal 5-Way was excellent. You said the one thing that would have made this match better was if it was in front of a sold out capacity crowd with like 15,000 people. Another thing that would have made this match better was if Mauro Ranallo was on commentary. What was if they had Mauro on commentary? That would have made the 15,000 people in Morrow being on commentary would have made this match much better. Would have made this match much better. But I thought this was an excellent. But I thought this was an excellent match. I don't think this was the best multi-man match in NXT. In NXT history because I'm still giving that award. I'm still giving that award to the Fatal 4-Way match from TakeOver Fatal 4-Way where it was Zayn, Breeze, Neville, and Kidd. That still has my pick for the best Fatal 4-Way match, for the best multi-man match in NXT history. But I thought this was, but this is easily a close number two. But this is easily number two. I thought this is a very good match. And the one thing I liked about this match is I thought all 5 guys in the match had an opportunity to shine. I thought all 5 guys in this match had an opportunity to shine, and they had spots in this match where all 5 guys could have realistically walked out with the NXT Championship. That's what I liked about this match. That's what I liked about this match. That's what I liked about this match. And you talked about in the Raquel Ember Moon match how it made Ember Moon look like an idiot. How she hooked that one leg. How she hooked that one leg. Well, I thought it made Adam Cole look like an idiot when he went for the cover on Johnny Gargano, and his feet were facing outside the ring. Because once I saw that, I just knew that pinfall was being broken up. That pinfall was being broken up, and that's exactly what happened. Pete Dunne gave Adam Cole a brain buster. That's exactly what happened. Pete Dunne gave Adam Cole a brain buster right there on the apron, which Adam Cole deserved because Adam Cole was an idiot for pinning him like that. Adam Cole was an idiot for pinning him like that. But I thought all 5 guys in this match had an opportunity to shine. All 5 guys in this match had an opportunity to shine. I like the false finish. The false finish they did here that got me when Pete Dunne had Karrion Kross in the triangle choke, and Karrion Kross was fading, and it looked like Karrion Kross was going to pass out, which I thought was going to happen. And then and then everybody else came in and they broke up the triangle Pete Dunne had on Karrion Kross. I thought that was nice. But I thought the finish surprised me because I was not expecting Kyle O'Reilly to eat the fall. I thought Johnny Gargano was being put in this match to eat the pinfall, to be perfectly honest with you. I thought they were putting Johnny Gargano in this match so he could eat the pin. But Kyle O'Reilly took the pin, and just I don't know where they go from here. Maybe they go back to Adam Cole because I can see. Maybe they go back to Adam Cole because I could see Adam Cole telling Kross. Because I could see Adam Cole telling Kross, well, it's different. It's different when you have 4 of the people you have to worry about in the match. If it's just me and you in there, if it's just me and you in there, you don't stand a shot, big boy. And, you don't stand a shot, big boy. So that could be a way I see Adam Cole getting a match. I could see Karrion Kross lobbying for one more. I could see, not Karrion Kross, I could see Kyle O'Reilly lobbying for one more match against Karrion Kross, believing he could beat him. But, yeah, I don't know where they go from here. The plan at this point has to be Walter. Walter has to be the plan. Walter has to be the plan at this point. Either Walter or that Parker Bordeaux guy. If Parker Bordeaux is ever going to debut, if he's ever going to debut, it's either going to be, but Walter, Parker Bordeaux, or Samoa Joe had to be the plan at this point because I just don't know how you're taking, because I just don't know how you're taking that championship off Karrion Kross. I just don't know. I think this is the best spot for him to lose the championship in, but he didn't, but he didn't. Pete Dunne, the time didn't feel right. Same thing with Johnny Gargano, the time didn't feel right. Kyle O'Reilly, I don't think Pete Dunne, the time didn't feel right. Johnny Gargano, the time, Johnny Gargano, been there, done that. Kyle O'Reilly, I thought had a shot, very slim shot, but a shot. But I thought the two guys best were Adam Cole and Karrion Kross, but they obviously went with Karrion Kross. So I don't know where they go from here, unless which the plan at this point has to be Walter. Plan at this point, Walter has to be the plan at this point. Because who else on NXT can realistically take that championship off Karrion Kross? So I'm not talking about, oh, this person doesn't have the size to do it. No, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about who do you have realistically built up that can take the championship off this man? You don't really have anybody unless Walter or Samoa Joe are the plans. There is nobody down there. So I thought this was really confusing because I thought the finish was, while it was predictable because I predicted Kross to win, I thought it was a mistake. I thought that championship really should have went to Adam Cole.
Yeah, that's what I predict. I predicted Adam Cole to win because he had more creativity with that. And you didn't do that. Now, my guess is what they do is they probably take these guys, put them in a number one contender. If we were to see one of these guys get another shot at Karrion Kross, the one guy I would want it to be is Pete Dunne. And it's not close because Pete Dunne gave Karrion Kross his best shot tonight. Pete Dunne put him through the door. Pete Dunne choked him out. Pete Dunne hit him with his finisher. Pete Dunne and Karrion Kross had some very good back and forths. And, he's not going to win the title. But listen, Pete Dunne's only 27 years old. It feels like he's older than that, but Pete Dunne is only 27 years old. He's got years and years and years ahead of him. I don't know how long he's going to be in NXT. I don't expect him anytime soon to be mentioned for being called up to Raw or SmackDown. So,
away from those shows. I do not
oh,
want
absolutely.
in the hands of Vince McMahon. I don't want it. I don't.
Oh,
Want it.
absolutely.
Plus, I think Pete Dunne's sick because I think Pete Dunne works. I think he works for NXT UK and something like. I don't know. I think he's a producer. I think he's either a producer or an agent for NXT UK. I don't know if he still is or not, but I know he was. So I think he's. So if he is, I think he's safe. I think Pete Dunne is safe.
Yeah, but listen, out of any of the guys we saw in this match with Kross tonight, if we had to get a rematch, I would want it to be Pete Dunne because I feel like they would have a great match and Dunne would carry him. Dunne obviously wouldn't win, but he's 27 years old, like I mentioned, and by the end of maybe by next year, I would love for him to be the NXT champion. The guy just has it. He needs a mouthpiece. That's the only thing he needs is a mouthpiece. Like he had Pat McAfee for a little bit with Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, and that worked. They were great. I loved it. He needs a mouthpiece, but the dude is freaking amazing at what he does. He's one of my favorite workers in the entire WWE. He has it, and I think he could definitely be a future NXT champion in next year or the end of the year.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. Yeah, I agree 100%. The idea I've pitched, and I'll continue to pitch it to get. I like Pete Dunne, Danny Burch, and Oney Lorcan together. But what I want to see is Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, and Trent Seven together. I think that's the real money combo right there. So I think those two guys should be paired up as a heel. I think those guys should be paired up as a heel combo. And I would love for it to be Pete Dunne. Again, I could see it big Adam Cole, because Adam Cole could always, because Adam, because you could always have Adam Cole come out on TV. You could always have Adam Cole come out on TV, and you could have Adam Cole go, or guess what? You beat me, but you beat me with four other guys involved. If it's just me and you one on one, big boy, you don't stand a shot. I wrestle circles around you one on one. So maybe that's how Adam Cole gets his shot. But so maybe that's how Adam Cole gets another shot at the title. But I'm in agreement with you. I think Pete Dunne. I would love for it to be Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne had Karrion Kross beat tonight. So yeah. I'm in agreement with you.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up the NXT TakeOver In Your House review here on the channel. I want to thank each and every one of you who tuned in to the review tonight. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. We got a big week coming off. We're going to start off big. The first 2 days, Monday, we got the Danny Limelight interview. Then after that, I'll be back here tomorrow night to talk about Monday Night Raw. Tuesday, I'll be back here with my co-host Cameron Johnson to talk about the Fallout episode of NXT from tonight's TakeOver. Comment down below your thoughts about tonight's NXT TakeOver In Your House show. Like this video if you like what myself and Cam had to say about the show. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Colin_Joseph. Cam, where can they follow you on Twitter?
Follow me on Twitter at Cam71101.
And also go subscribe to the CNE podcast. Cam, it was great. This was our first NXT TakeOver review together. And we will be back here Tuesday night to talk everything from the fallout of tonight's TakeOver. So, ladies and gentlemen, hope you have a good night. Hope you guys enjoy the show. Stay safe. Have a good night. Stay classy.